What's up, brothers, sisters? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Interesting week in the market. We have been stuck in a range now for quite some days. So let's take a look at the market indices, the QQQ, the SPY, and the IWM, and do a quick analysis and then get into the watch list. Not much has changed. The market has evened out a little bit. And so let's dig into the QQQ. So first of all, we did have, this just huge kind of drop. That was maybe about 10%, give or take. And now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, we've really just been kind of stuck inside this range. And whether this turns into, some bottoming formation or a bear flag, we don't really know yet. I will say there's a couple green shoots that are happening, which is that, the price action the last couple days did change a little bit. So if you look at, the QQQs on Friday, we had a gap down and we rebounded and we basically, closed up flat or slightly up on the day. And then the previous day we gapped down decent size and we made a nice run. And then we did fade into the end of the day, but the interesting thing I thought was that the downside was not necessarily following through. And I think that's, if you're a bull, that's something, you can take as a piece of evidence. It's not necessarily a piece of evidence like, wow, the bottom is in, but it's a nugget to locate into your processes on how you're going to attack this coming market in the coming days. Now, if we look on a different side of the scale, this is a QQQs on a 1 hour chart. And you can see this 486 is going to be a huge spot. We're essentially just in a channel of some sort here. And really till this box breaks, we're going to have a little bit of choppy action. And what I mean by choppy action is the setups that you would do when you're momentum trading, you don't do now. So, for example, in momentum trading, when the market itself is trending, higher up its MAs, then, what you're essentially doing is, you're doing breakouts and you can buy high and sell higher and all of this kind of stuff, right? But when you're in a range-bound market, when the market looks good, it dumps. And when the market looks bad, it pops up. And we're just essentially in that kind of, box. And so some different levels to just kind of keep in mind for now is we're basically in like a 10 to 15 point range in the QQQs. On a short-term basis, on a more intermediate-term basis, maybe we're in a 20-point range, give or take, on the QQQ. So that's where I would be trading around. I wouldn't get too giddy with anything till not only does the box break, but a successful retest happens. Because in a chop market, oftentimes you will break, and that actually ends up being the short signal. That's like it breaks, everybody chases, and then you rug. Or you break down, and then everybody shorts it, and then you break through. And so that often can be the short signal. So to really get the true confirmation, if you're a bull, you want to see this thing break up and then even successfully retest and, continue through. And if you're a bear, you'd want to see this thing break and then retest and, even if it goes through and then come back. And I think that's important. The old days of just in a chop market of just drawing squiggly lines on top of your chart and then making a bunch of money trading, we're not in that market, right? That market is a specific market where not only are you trending, but you're trending for numerous months and people are chasing because there's not that many stocks left, right? Like as you get into the tail end of runs like this, every stock is so extended, so people start playing hot potato and they start chasing into every PR, every sector. Oh, it's quantums, it's nuclear, it's this, it's that. And that's what creates all the kind of fun back and forth breakouts and stuff like that. We're just not in that right now, so just kind of be mindful of that. There's a time and place for everything, and we're not there. The SPY, this one broke down its trend line in the morning, and then now it's retested back. And so, very, very similar action if you're looking into the SPY. We're essentially, we've got a lid on the SPY 571. We've got our old lows here. And, we were kind of, on the hourly chart for maybe about a week and a half, kind of going up this wedge. And we did break down, and now we're retesting it. And so do we kind of recapture this, and that kind of ends up being the long signal? Or does this start to build and then kind of work its way down? I think that'll be very telling into terms of the week. Now, if we're just looking in terms of, sector analysis on a 5-day sort, you can see really IWM was a nice place to hide for the coming week. You can see here on the XLE, we've got a decent, range break, and then a longer term one. If we break here, then that kind of puts us in here where the real fun would happen. And if we're looking here, like just at a weekly chart, right, this is probably the strongest sector. Now, oil is like, they're not good day traders, but they're great for swing trading. It's similar with gold and stuff like that, right? They can be great swing traders, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're great day traders. But I would keep a couple of these on watch for a potential swing trade. I like this LNG. I thought this was an interesting setup. That's, it had an inside day on Friday. And so, maybe a little bit of marination here. And it can go. So just something to kind of, keep it to the back of your heads here. But overall, there was nothing that hot in the market. The T2108 popped a little bit here. It did get oversold under 20, which usually leads to bounces. And so we did get that kind of momentarily bounce. But market breadth it's been shady for a long period of time. It's not, it's been like this forever. Now, let's take a look at just some of the stocks I'm going to put on the watch list. Now, there's something to be mindful about bottoming plays, all right? Oftentimes, you'll see a stock that looks like a bottoming play. For example, I have this like APP on my watch list. And it looks fantastic. And then, right, one red candle dusts it and it becomes like a wedge bear flag. That's the kind of market we're in here. So you want to be quick. You want to be really precise. If you're trading tech, look, if you're trading gold stocks, if you're trading oil stocks or something along that end, that's different. They're in a more trending environment. But if you're trading tech stocks, okay, this is the level. Like, I like this APP. If the market can go tomorrow, you've got a clean, easy level here. If you're looking at the hourly chart here, you just got, right, like a 315 spot. But you want to be just a little bit careful because it's like just one red candle turns this into a bear flag. And I've seen this over the years so many times when the markets drop and we get so eager to bounce the market that we forget that it's just like the smallest thing can turn everything from bullish to bearish. And that's just the side of the market that we're in. Los Tigres is a Chinese stock. They had earnings out last week. It must have went over pretty well. We were day trading at that specific day. And now you're coming back and retesting the 9 EMA. I think this is something probably worth keeping on your watch list. It's a Los Tigres. This kind of runs with Futu and some of these other ones. But the Los Tigres is a magical stock. Let me just tell you that when you trade the Los Tigres, it is the most beautiful stock I can talk about. I like the overall look of this. Let's see if it retests there. Palantir's got a spot here too. This may be a little too heavily watched. I would, maybe lean more towards APP for myself. Is some of these I kind of heavily watch stocks. They need like more shakeouts before they often become longs. But we got a nice easy level here. We've remounted the 50-day moving average. And the interesting thing I thought with Palantir was that, even when the market was still going down, it had already started to even out, right? Like it's been going sideways for a month. So this may be a potential. BEKE's a Chinese stock that's, if it gaps down tomorrow to the 50-day moving average, that'll break the lower Bollinger Band also. I think that you'll have a nice, easy kind of location on this one that could be pretty good. So let's hope for a little gap down on this one. I think that would put the bounce in where we could kind of take this into the next test of that resistance. And then you can finally play for the breakout. Netflix has got I would call this like a mini flag pattern, right? It's like you've dipped down, reverse. You're just marinating there right above the 50-day moving average. This stock trades like shit, but, the look is the look. Spotify has a very similar look to it. And then you have some names like this that are just really marinating right on the 200-day moving average. If UPST could come out of this, you can see the EMAs, you start making a little bit of higher lows on this thing, and you've got a level here at 52.73 that you could bust through. Like that overall look. I got PDD. This was an earnings reversal. So gap down on earnings day. Got completely reversed that day. And then Friday, you had an inside day. All the Chinese stocks were weak on Friday. So to be expected, you got a spot right here. You know, inside day post earnings is usually pretty powerful. And that could set up a little bit of a longer term range break. AFRM's got a similar setup to UPST. If you look here, right on your hourly chart, you've got multiple, you got higher lows here. And then you got just a nice, easy level to trade around at maybe about 50-50, give or take. And then for you degenerates out there, this laser's got a nice look on it too. I'm guessing with the volume accumulation that's been happening here recently, there's been probably some level of news out on this thing. But this has got definitely a bottoming look to it. It used to be, many, many moons ago, a much higher price stock. That's got a good look to it. If you like small caps, mid caps, that kind of thing, then this won't trade like necessarily a low floater. It'll grind up through the day. You can see, right, like the trend was fairly linear in terms of like the sashaying that goes into these things. So guys, this is not the time to be a hero. It's a trader's market. I wouldn't say trader's market, it's a scalper's market. And be flexible. Almost every stock that we have, if we need to reverse, we'll reverse them, because almost everything is like, they could be a bear flag or bottoming, like if you need to short something, right? You got a level here on NVIDIA that, if it breaks down, you could go. But this is like a makeshift kind of look, right? It's not really, it's like kind of like you're just kind of one eyeing and playing hot or not. And it's like, is it really anything? I don't know. Meta is sitting there, ride or die, and on the 200-day moving average. So, if this kind of comes out of this range, maybe you get some movement to the top of the bone zone. So, guys, that's it. I love you guys. Peace. Trade well, trade fast. You know the drill.